There are many still images of Dealey Plaza from November 22nd, 1963, but this image has always stood out in my mind. The still frames from the Zapruder film fail to properly show the Secret Service in any kind of reasonable light. Now, obviously, there was a catastrophic failure on this day, and there's no question about it at all. However, we tend to forget the parameters that were placed on the Secret Service that really made it nearly impossible for the agents in the motorcade to prevent this tragedy. One could even make the argument that they were set up to fail, but I will not make that argument at all, not without any concrete evidence. This photo of the presidential limousine and the follow-up car, known as the Queen Mary, gives better insight on how the Secret Service reacted to Oswald's second shot. Now, this is with understanding that the first bullet missed. The best way to visualize this photo is by taking a look through the windshield of the presidential limousine. There's a whole lot more in there going on than many people realize. In the first image, I framed President Kennedy's wrist, well, his left hand, which shows his white cuff and cuff link. This is after he reached for his throat in reaction to being struck by the second shot. Next, if you look in the circle, you will see the white glove of First Lady Jackie's left hand when she reached to grasp the president's left forearm, where it has been said that she was trying to determine what was actually happening to the president and the governor. Also, in the left of the image, take a look, I framed the left profile of Governor Connolly's face. This is after he's been hit and turned to the right in reaction to being struck by the second bullet. This frame from the Zapruder film will give you a better perspective on the moment the photo we're discussing was taken. Here you can see that the position of the president's left arm and the location of where First Lady's white glove was grasping the president's forearm, and Governor Connolly's position all match the image you've just seen when we glance through the windshield of the presidential limousine. Now let's take a look back at the full image and look at the Queen Mary. Standing on the left running board, you'll see that I framed agents John Reddy and Paul Landis in the yellow square. Notice that they were both looking over their right shoulder in the direction of the book depository when they heard the shots. On the left running board, you'll see a yellow arrow, and that's pointing at Bill McIntyre, who is also looking to his right. At this point, both President Kennedy and Governor Connolly have both been struck by the second bullet. I've circled Agent Clint Hill, who is the head of the First Lady's Secret Service detail. As you can see, he has his eyes focused in the direction of the President and the First Lady, and this is a split second prior to his famous leap from the running board on the Queen Mary and running and climbing onto the back of the presidential limousine and shielding both President and Mrs. Kennedy. This photo also speaks to the claims that many have said, and these claims have snowballed over the decades, stating that the Secret Service didn't react at all to the shots. And I believe that's mostly due to the Zapruder film only showing what occurred in the presidential limousine. Also, many of the witnesses have testified that they believed that the shots were firecrackers. There was also a false assumption that the Secret Service must have also believed that the first two shots were firecrackers. Now, common sense, I do find it very difficult to believe that the Secret Service didn't react at all, and I also find it difficult to believe that they didn't know gunfire when they heard it, especially deciphering it gunfire from firecrackers. But hopefully, this has proven otherwise when people have thoroughly viewed this over the years.